We can't hear Swamini.
Can't hear because I'm not saying anything. Now you can hear, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Wonderful.
Yes, Swamini.
ॐ शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्भक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु भक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः. The Taittiriya Upanishad is blessed with three Shanti Mantras. Two of them we have already chanted. One is this one, Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha. The second one is Sahana Vavatu, which is associated with the being the Shanti Mantra of the Krishna Yajurveda. Then also one more Shanti Mantra comes at the end, which is a slight variation of this Shanti Mantra called Shanno Mitraha. So it will be the same, Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo. Up till then it is the same. Then it's slight change. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmavadisham Ritamavadisham Satyamavadisham Tanmamavit Tadvaktaramavit Aveen Mam Avid Bhaktaram. Like that it will be. Slight change in the tense. The potential mood is used, and here avatu present the imperative mood is used. So that's a slight change there. So that constitutes the three Shanti mantras. And then in addition to these three Shanti mantras, Adi Shankara has composed three prayer verses which are very beautiful. They are beautiful, we saw a little bit yesterday, they are beautiful for several reasons. The first reason that these prayers are very beautiful is in their simplicity. You don't need to be some kind of a scholar, a pandit in Sanskritam in order to understand these. Because sometimes the panditya, the scholarship, is in how easy something is for to be able to appreciate. The scholarship need not obfuscate things for the common people. In fact, it should be able to, the verses that one composes or anything that one composes, whether it is verse or prose, it should be able to draw people in while at the same time being very profound. And this definitely takes takes all these criteria into consideration. Just a beautiful set of verses. Let us look at the first one. And what is that? This is the in this small verse, he ends up presenting the Swarupa Lakshana of Brahman. We saw what is the definition of Swarupa Lakshana. Lakshana itself is a definition. And we saw what is Swarupa Lakshana, that which navyabhicharati, that which does not deviate, that which never changes, that which is not subject to contradiction. And a lakshana by nature, we'll talk more about that later, should be, differentiating it from everything else that is also there. And so here the Swarupa Lakshana, so the first verse is dedicated to Brahman and Bhagavan, both as Brahman and as the ruler of the universe, both as Brahman, which is the Atma, and as that Brahman over which the Ishvaratvam is, as it were, superimposed. So we can chant this and then see the meaning. Yasmajjatam jagat sarvam, Yasmajjatam jagat sarvam, Yasminneva praliyate, Yasminneva praliyate, Yenedandharyate chaiva, Yenedandharyate chaiva, Tasmai jnanatmane namaha, Tasmai jnanatmane namaha. This is the first verse. And very nice, got a lot of alliteration with the yakara being prevalent there. Yasmat, Yasmin, Yena. Already 3 karakas have been used up. Yasmat, 5th case. Yasmin, 7th case. And Yena, instrumental case or 3rd case. So by which, from which, in which, what? By which, in which, what? The first, let's see, Namaha. Let's go to the last word, Namaha. Surrender. Namaskaras. Salutations. So Namaha is an attitude of worshipfulness. But if you add kara to it, namaskara, that means it's got a what is that called? It's got an action along with the attitude. So namaskara, bowing down, doing namaskara, so there is some doing there. But namaha is the attitude of surrender and worshipfulness. So namaha, and unto what? Because that which, the word that qualifies the word namaha, that which the word namaha qualifies is always in 4th case. Namaha and swasti take the 4th case. And so here, tasmai jnanatmane namaha. These are the words in the 4th case, tasmai and jnanatmane. So tasmai, that, unto that, and what is that? Jnanatma. Unto that jnanatma. Atma means I. So Adi Shankara doesn't want you to think that it is this complaining I that is being offered salutations. The complaining, jaded, faded, mad, rad, bad jiva. No. It is that I in the form of Jnanatma, which is awareness, consciousness, that source of sentience, which is Bhagavan. That consciousness is Bhagavan. Is the same, is non-separate from Bhagavan. Unto that Namaha. And Tasmai Jnanatmane Namaha. So when you say unto that Jnanatma, then the question, it begs the question, which is this Jnanatma? That which is qualified by all these words, all these cases. 5th case, 3rd case, 7th case. So 5th case is very nice. It begins with the 5th case. And Panini's description of the 5th case is Dhruvam apaye apadanam. Very beautiful. In fact, that sutra itself is just so telling, and it's almost like why almost? It is in fact a prayer in the middle of the sutra, the sutra patha. right in the middle of the Sutra Patha, he offers a prayer in the form of this Sutra. Dhruvam apaye apadanam. So this apadana karaka, which is the fifth case. The fifth case in English is called ablative case. And what is this ablative case? The ablative case is that which uses prepositions from, of, etc. And Panini points out that from which something has come is what? Is dhruvam. So that the source is dhruvam. Dhruvam means stationary, unmoving. So from that unmoving, this whole jagat which is moving, revolving, changing has come. So in fact the definition of the fifth case is like that. Even if we use a simple everyday sentence, vrikshat pushpam patati, the flower falls, drops from the tree. So the tree is not dropping. Tree is stationary. It's the flower that drops. Then you can change it. You can say patrani patanti. The leaves drop. Flowers drop. So many things drop. Birds also drop things, sitting on the tree. So many kinds of droppings are there, but the tree is not going anywhere in this process. This is the beauty of the fifth case. And Adi Shankara, who is an expert on Panini, therefore decides to begin with the fifth case, keeping that sutra in mind. So yasmat jatam, from which has been born. And again the word born has to be in apostrophes, as though born. From which it has been born. What? Idam sarvam jagat. This whole universe, this entire universe has come from which? Causeless cause, sourceless source. So this is what we are talking about. So this is the salutations offered to that source, which is causeless in itself, but which lends itself to be the cause for the entire jagat. So the jagat rises in which consciousness, in which, by whose power, the jagat non-separate from that Bhagavan, which as though is projected by that Bhagavan. From that Bhagavan this jagat has come. And then what? Yes, so if it has come from Bhagavan, where will it go? Yasmin eva praliyate. Unto which praliyate resolves, dissolves, becomes one with again. Where else can it go? The same place your dream goes upon your waking up. When you wake up, where does the dream go? Back to that same memory and desire bank from which the dream appeared. Unto that the dream resolves. Unto that same awareness the dream resolves. Here too the whole jagat, which is projected by Bhagavan, resolves into that alone. Then in between these two states, jayate and then gacchati. In fact, that is what is the vyutpatti, a fun vyutpatti. Vyutpatti means derivation of the word jagat. Ja for jayate and ga for gacchati, jagat. So that which is born and gone, born and gone. And in between born and gone, what is there? It is. It is. So the born and gone is described in the first line. Yasmat jatam jagat sarvam yasmin eva praliyate. In which alone, and that evakara is there to show there is no other source where it can go and resolve. It is therefore emphasis. Here only it resolves. Out of this only it has come. Then yena idam dharyate chaiva, by which this entire universe is sustained, by which source it is alone sustained. And what is that? Tasmai, unto that Jnanatma, unto that consciousness which is non-separate from the I, which is observing this whole thing, which is the witness of everything. That sentient consciousness, that Sat Chit Ananda, that Atma, which is the source of everything, unto that Namaha. My salutations unto that self, which is the nature of sentient consciousness, awareness, from which this entire universe has come into being, by which alone it is sustained, and unto which it resolves repeatedly in between every cycle of creation. And so if you look at this verse, you find a lot of things. That's what I mean. It is very nuanced and layered, even though the grammar may be looking not outside of one's grasp. So what is here, so as I said, the Swarupa Lakshana is there hidden in the second line. Tasmai Jnanatmane Namaha. This Jnanatma is seen as that Swarupa which is unchanging. This Swarupa Lakshana of Brahman is there hidden in this word Jnanatma. Then in the first line, from which everything has come, unto which everything resolves, by which everything is sustained, that is Tatastha Lakshana. We talked a lot about these two yesterday. So that is Tatastha Lakshana. Very, very nice. So this Tatastha Lakshana is there in the first line, first 1.5 lines, and then the last half is the Swarupa Lakshana. And so that Jnanatma, without undergoing any change, has become that force, that Ishvara force, because of which everything has come, by which everything is been sustained, and unto which everything resolves. So salutations unto that. So here two things have been accomplished. The differentiation between the Swarupa Lakshana and the Tatastha Lakshana, which much of the Brahmananda Valli revolves around, is talked about. And also one more thing is talked about, one more thing has been established here very beautifully. It is the Vishaya, the subject matter of this entire book. The second Valli which we are going to study has been established. The subject matter is what? This Brahman. Which Brahman? From which the whole Jagat has come, and unto which everything resolves, by which everything is sustained, and that which is stationary, unchanging, not doing anything, free of action, free of strife, free of samsara, free of conflict. And so these two, so to speak, these two, Brahman from these two standpoints is the Vishaya of this topic, which is called Brahma Vidya. This Vishaya is there, and then, so I talked about this fourfold categorization yesterday. Vishaya, and then Adhikari, and then what else? Sambandha
and Prayojana.
Sambandha and Prayojana. So all this we will be seeing as we see the verses. So let us move to the next one. If you have any questions, you can ask at the end. You can write it down and ask at the end. Yairi me gurubhif purvam, Yairi me gurubhif purvam, Padavakya pramanatah, Padavakya pramanatah, Vyakhyata sarva vedantaha, Vyakhyata sarva vedantaha, Tan nityam pranatosmyaham, Tan nityam pranatosmyaham. Very nice. Yaihi gurubhihi purvam padavakya pramanatah ime sarve vedantaha vyakhyataha tan nityam pranatah asmi aham. So The second verse is dedicated to the parampara, to the lineage. Without the lineage, the person is nothing. Even if they might be the greatest, they may consider themselves to be the greatest of teachers, but without the lineage, there is no recognition at all. That's what makes this a very safe place to study, because it's not about the individual ego. The individual ego of somebody who has some narcissistic tendencies, let us say, or somebody who wants to show off. What a wonderful teacher I am. Somebody who wants to show off, they have no place there, here. Because they are washed over by the tradition. Here it is not about the individual, because in any kind of guru-centric or individual-centric kind of a situation, a spiritual situation, that can easily devolve into a cult. And that is, where the stuti is made of the individual in question. You are wonderful, you are great. And here, in the Vedantic tradition, in this tradition which is heavily parampara based, we may still revere our teachers. We may say that I can learn from this teacher better than that teacher. This teacher speaks to me better. All that is allowed, just like we have, all that is permitted, because we have a rich tradition of Ishta Devata. Ishta Devata means we select the form of Bhagavan to relate to that one is comfortable with. And some people, they choose something that was given to them from their own family, clan. Kula Devata is there, Grama Devata is there. So, or sometimes people make a different choice. And what do they do? They may select something that speaks to them when they are able to see and choose something for themselves. So that is also there. And so regardless, that is possible in the tradition, because we have that permission is given to do that. So you may study with a person, but then the person also heavily relies on the parampara, and then puts you also in touch with the parampara and points to the parampara instead of trying to take credit at every little turn. Oh, look at what I have done. There is no I here that is outside of the parampara. So the lineage makes this a safe place of learning. And why is it a safe place of learning? Because already the learning has to overpower years of suspicion, fears, doubt, and wrong notions. It has to remove. And so therefore the learning has to be a safe environment. And so that's why the parampara makes it safe in two ways. Firstly, it is not centered on one particular individual who can disappoint you, who can just run away, or who can, tell you some wrong things. No. That in that way it is safe. And the second reason it is safe is because we have the parampara acting. So the first reason is that the parampara acts as a buffer. And the second reason is that the parampara gives a sense of hope. Because if the guru got this knowledge, and the guru got this knowledge, and the guru got this knowledge, guru got this knowledge, guru got this knowledge, then I too will get this knowledge. This is a very hopeful place. And imagine if it is individual centric, then if it is centered on an individual ego, then the person will say, "Pata nahi kaise apne aap jnaan aa gaya." This apne aap business is very, very dangerous. Vedanta is not DIY, do it yourself. इसमें नहीं होता है. It is not there. There is no do it yourself. This is dependent upon being shown the way, primarily because one is lost. And we saw how in the Chandogya Upanishad, that businessman from where is that, Gandhara Pradesha, was lost. Cell phone had been stolen. Oh, really? It said that in the Chandogya Upanishad? Definitely it said that. So the cell phone had been stolen, and the person was gagged and bound and handcuffed and foot cuffed also, thrown into a forest and turned around from his house, from his native place. Lost. And so the lost person from Gandhara Pradesha, how can he find his way back home? Needs help. That's why the Guru, in the form of the Good Samaritan, what does the Guru do? Unties the gags and the bondage. And the person starts screaming, help, koi hai? What is happening to me? Where am I? Starts asking spiritual questions. Where am I? For what purpose I have been brought here? Who am I? Bachao, Trahimam, Pahimam. And then the Good Samaritan, who represents the Guru in this katha, in this allegory, in this wonderful story. What does that person do? That person points him to the Gandhara, towards the direction of the Gandhara Pradesha. Cannot do it by yourself. So if any teacher says, I got this knowledge by myself, you just do namaskar to them from a distance, from a safe distance, okay? Yeah, 6 feet away. That is what is social distancing now. So this is also a good spiritual distance. Do namaskar and in your mind tell yourself, you enjoy the knowledge that you got apne aap. Don't give it to me. Don't share it with me. This is the gist of the second verse composed by Adi Shankara. Yaihi Gurubhihi. By which gurus? Gurubhihi. And here the plural is there deliberately because it's not just one or two gurus, it's many gurus who came before oneself, who came before Adi Shankara here. So Yaihi Gurubhihi Vyakhyataha Ime Sarva Vedantaha. So by which gurus it was unfolded? What was unfolded? The whole gist of the entire Vedanta Shastra was unfolded. Vyakhyataha, expounded, clearly expounded. And then how was it expounded? When was it expounded? Purvam, in the earlier generations before. And then what was expounded? Sarve Vedantaha. The entire gamut of the Vedanta Shastra in the form of the Upanishads was expounded, was clearly unfolded. And then how was it unfolded? Padavakya Pramanataha. With great detail and care. Line by line. Pada is word by word. Vakya, line by line. Pramanataha means in keeping with the methodology of how the knowledge should be handed down, and in keeping with the grammar, syntax, and some yukti, reasoning. So many reasoning we saw in the Chandogya study. In our Chandogya study we saw all these reasonings, and so here also by which the parampara has blessed us with a methodology, a pedagogy by which this knowledge is communicated, a pedagogy which cannot go wrong, a methodology which has been deployed from time immemorial, a timeless methodology that works even today. And so this methodology here is called Padavakya Pramanataha. Word by word, line by line. But why do you have to say word by word? And why do you have to say line by line? Well, you have to say word by word and line by line, because the words mean something else, and then when you see them in a sentence, it has a different meaning altogether. Like, for example, the word tvam means you. Tvam means you. And then this everybody knows. Everybody knows the meaning of tvam, to be you. And what is this you? Who is this you? Well, the other person will ask, how much time do you have? If you have 5 minutes, then I will give you a short set of complaints. If you have a longer time, I will define myself with a much more longer list of complaints. So which kind of a you do you want? How much time do you have? Which you do you want? Then you say, no, just give me the short version, it's enough. I myself have enough problems and I can also tell you all about me. So just give me the short version, you might say. And that short version itself is quite long, and it will be, I am so and so's putri, I am so and so's putra, I have so many siblings and they are all good for nothing. Which means what? I have the burden of raising all of them. And you don't know what all I have done for them, the ingrates, and how are they repaying me like this. And so it starts on and on. So this is all the meaning, the direct meaning of the word tvam. So this is pada. The pada is, the word tvam. And its artha is a very subjective understanding of what happens when the word you is uttered in the mind, in the heart. But then if you put it in the sentence, tattvamasi, it is no longer that meaning at all. That meaning of the complaining, grudge-bearing, resentful, dejected, rejected, oppressed, suppressed, depressed person goes away. That goes away. In its place. So the vachyartha of the word tvam goes away completely. What tvam is there? The direct meaning of the word tvam. I am so and so's son, so and so's daughter, so and such, of such and such a height, of such and such a caliber, of so and so degrees. And this is my pedigrees, Brahmana, Kshatriya, etc. All these degrees and pedigrees, everything goes away. Because we are relying on the indirect meaning of the word tvam. And what is the word tvam? The word tvam is what is described here as jnanatma, that awareness alone, that which remains after all the complaints are removed. That which remains is not the complaints, but not the one who identifies with the complaints, but the witness of the complaints. The one who remains is that sentient consciousness. That is the word, that is what is the lakshyartha of the word tvam. And then that is equated to tat. And tat, the vachyartha of the word tat doesn't mean anything. What does it mean? That. That means what? So many things far away, I use the word that. That door, that window, that person somewhere, separated in time and space. That is what the word that is used for. And so, but then in the Shastra, the word that means Ishvara. Jagat Karanam Brahma. This Ishvara is referred to by the word that. What is this Ishvara? You take away the Ishvaratvam, which we talked about yesterday. You take away the Ishvaratta. You take away the ability here, which was described in the first verse. What was described? Yasmad, the power to project this whole Jagat, to sustain the whole Jagat, and to take back the Jagat. You take that power away, what remains? Jnanatma. That is how the equation is made, along with a lot of yukti, reasoning, illustrations, udaharanam. So many udaharanas are there, and then this udaharana and the illustration and yukti, reasoning, logic, so many things are there. All that is, all that is that is talked about here by the simple compound here, padavakya pramanatah. This tasil is also fifth case here. So how was it, How was it unfolded? It was unfolded from a clearly expounded methodology. And it was clearly expounded using that methodology. It's a byproduct. So this Vedanta Shastra is a product of this methodology, because otherwise it's just a heap of words. It won't make any sense at all. Then Vyakhyataha Sarva Vedantaha, and then what else? Tasmai, no, Tan, this Guru Bhihi is there. So because of which gurus, those gurus, Tan, plural here, Tan Nityam. Nityam means forever. Pranataha Asmi Aham. I remain bowed down, I remain saluting forever. And even that is not enough, because of the gift that they have given me. And I have received this gift from the Parampara, and now I am going to share it with you, Adi Shankara is saying. And because I have received this gift, and this gift has empowered me and clarified my doubts and made me blessed and equipped enough to share it with you, you automatically become part of this parampara. You are embraced in this parampara, and you can look at yourself as a very blessed recipient of this parampara, and then who in time can share it with others. So this is why the parampara is used here. The second, is to laud the whole Guru, and here he positions himself in the parampara. He positions himself so that people don't think that he is some kind of a individual, an upstart coming with some coming with some knowledge of Sanskrit and ready to teach people. No. And so just as I said, in the first one, the Vishaya, the subject matter is delineated clearly. The subject matter is this Jnanatma, this Satyatma, this Anantatma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That Jnanam clinches it, because that refers to both the Jiva and Ishvara. When Ishvaratta is removed, so to speak, cognitively, what remains is Jnanatma. And when the Jiva-hood, all the complaints and the so-called identification with the limitations are removed, what remains is Jnanatma. So when all the superimpositions are removed, that Jnanatma is the Vishaya. And here we have the what is that? The Sambandha is here. What is the connection between the book, the subject matter, and the Prayojana? That connection is in the blessings of the Gurus and the blessings of the Parampara. That is what it is. And so unto that my namaskars, he says, I will always remain grateful. I remain saluting these Gurus, because of whom I am in a position to have this knowledge and to share it with you. I remain saluting them. Then the next one, Taittiriya kasarasya mayacharya prasadataha vispashtartharuchinam hi vyakheyam sampraniyate. Here a small typo. I have translated Acharya here as teachers. You can remove the S. That was an oversight. So that is not there. It is one Acharya here. Maya Acharya Prasadatah. So here is a Guru Stuti on part of Adi Shankara. Guru Stuti means the praise of his own teacher, and the praise of the essence of the Taittiriya Upanishad, which is the subject matter here. And the Adhikari is also pointed out for whom is this, and how is this written, and all this is just very beautifully pointed out. So Taittiriya sarasya vyakhya iyam sampraniyate. So iyam vyakhya feminine, so iyam vyakhya sampraniyate, it is presented, this is gifted to you, it is presented to you. And what is this? The Taittiriya ka. The ka here, Taittiriya he could have said, but Taittiriya ka, maybe it is for Purnartha, for the for the chandas, for the meter, the ka can be there, but nothing is there by accident. So it is a diminutive pratyaya. Like you can say balaha, but balakaha means small boy, cute boy. So the Taittiriya here, is endearingly referred to by the Acharya. Taittiriya sarasya vyakhya. So the exposition of what? The essence of the Taittiriya. Perhaps he is saying, don't worry, I will not go into too many Purva Paksha Siddhanta arguments. So that you don't need to be put off right from the beginning. Objection, and then answer, and then objection, and then response. And if there are too many of them, the people who sign up with a lot of what is it called, soda bottle enthusiasm at the beginning of the Bhashya study, after a while they get what? Bhashyad out. Okay, yeah. So what is Bhashyad out? Meaning they run out of they run out of perseverance and the patience that and the interest even that it takes to be able to follow and sustain these arguments. And so here it's his promise that is just a sankshepa vyakhya. It is just a short little sara, only the essence. I'm not going into every little anuswara, every little dot, and every little cross, every little, everything. Every halantyam and anuswara is not going to be commented upon by me. And even if you have studied other of my bhashyas before, please give it a try. As come here, hey you mumukshus, hey you jignasus, seekers of freedom, oh ye seekers, desirers of knowledge, come without fear, because this will go by very fast, don't worry. I'm not saying it, okay? Don't hold it against me. This is Adi Shankara saying it. This will go by very fast. It's after all a sara. Sara means just the essence. We are not going to be going down the rabbit hole of every objection. We are not going to be doing that. This is a sara. So, this is a sankshepa vyakhya. And then this is going to be presented. How is it going to be presented? How can you present it? Because it was presented to me. It was a gift to me. By my Acharya, my teacher presented it to me, and then what am I doing? I am just unwrapping the gift anew for you. That's all I am doing. We are all gathered here, and I am just untying the bow, and everybody says, "Ha! Ascharyavat pashyati kashtidenam." This is so wonderful. Ah! Ooh, I am Brahman. Really? Oh, that's the best present ever. Is it my birthday? Ayyo, murkha. That is the whole idea. There is no birth, no death. That is the knowledge. There is no birth, no death, no transformation, no going, no coming. That is the best present ever. The best present ever is to be present. That is what is the best present. To be present in the here and in the now. That is the best present. And Adi Shankara says, I received it from my Acharya and I am giving it to you. And I am presenting it to you. It was a prasada. Prasada means gift. It was Bhagavan's prasada given to me. It was Ishvara prasada, Acharya prasada. And then, we also say Atma Prasada. Atma Prasada is the Shraddha that one brings, the receptivity, the ability to take this all to take this all and assimilate the meaning. This is what it is. But who is the intended audience? Vispashtartha ruchina, Vispashtartha ruchihi. So the one who is thirsty for the clear understanding of this Upanishad, the one who is got the palate, means the taste. For the clear, ruchi means taste. A cultivated taste here perhaps, the one who says, I love this Taittiriya Upanishad, I want to know more about it. I want to have clear understanding. Vispashtartha. Vispashtarthasya ruchihi yesham te. So for whom there is this hunger, this thirst, this trishna for clear understanding. So the intended audience is there. And what does it do? What does it do is that it removes samsara. That's what it do. That's what it does. That's why it is a present. It is a gift that removes all the notions of the self that one had, revealing the self to be nothing but jnanatma. Nothing but jnanatma at all. Nothing but jnanatma alone. All that is there is jnanatma. So then this is and the sambandha is also given. From my acharya I got this. And then for the freedom of those people who are endowed with a palate for clear understanding, whose palate is clean of other spicy foods, etc., who can taste the Upanishad, of tamasic foods and all these things, and who can taste the Upanishad, who have cultivated a taste, the subtle taste, where the tongue is not battered by all the raga dveshas, and the tongue is ready to accept and revel in the glory of this Upanishad. For them I am writing this. So let me stop sharing this now, and then we'll see a few more things about this. So very beautiful three verses, opening verses. One may think that okay, three mantras for this Upanishad, and then 3 verses by Adi Shankara. How much are we going to pray? And why so many prayers? Why so many prayers for this Upanishad? And we have studied this many times. We have taken a look at the Shanti Mantras whenever we do an Upanishad, and in the future also we will be taking a look at all the Shanti Mantras, etc., etc. And so, there is a very interesting story associated with it. Why the Shanti Mantras, and why so many Shanti Mantras? And for that story we'll have to take a trip to the Upanishad next door. Oh, where is that? Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And there, in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, in mantra 1.4.10, mantra 1.4.10, I wrote it down somewhere. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll read it to you. So this mantra 1.4.10, it gives a very interesting, interesting logic about the about so many things, about the state of affairs in the everyday world, the state of affairs in the everyday world of the potential jignasu. What do you mean the state of affairs? How does the potential mumukshu jignasu, how do they lead their lives? Perhaps they are karma yogis, perhaps they are grihasthas, perhaps they are bhaktas. So all this is taken into account, and then the I'm still, or maybe I wrote it in the Bhashya. Give me a second, let me look for it. I'll open the Bhashya file and then it will be there. Because we should look at this. It's a very nice mantra, and it will give the gist of very interesting thing. It will tell us some things. Somewhere I wrote it down. Not here. It will come.
Maybe I found it.
You found it?
I found it. Shall I put in chat box?
Yeah, put it in the chat box. Yeah, if you found it, well and good. Put it in the chat pod. Then that will be nice. So then, what is the basis for all this? In we'll see the mantra shortly. But then there is a saying that what this mantra says is that there are many obstacles which to gaining Brahma Vidya. There are obstacles to everything, but specifically with regard to the gain of Brahma Vidya, there are too many obstacles. Why? The mantra 1-4-10 says, whoever worships the devatas, because the whole life, the Vaidika's life is full of devatas. You see, somebody is coming from the to Vedanta from a life of a Vaidika, from a life of a worshipful person, a karma yogi who is also a worshipful person. And so from the standpoint of the life of this worshipful person, there are so many duties. Bhuta yajna, the duties towards towards other beings. And then Deva yajna, duties towards devatas. Devatas, Bhagavan with regard to a certain form and function. Exalted jivas who are there and who take the place of these devatas, Indra, Yama, etc. And then there are duties and offerings to be given to the rishis, pitras, the mains, the ancestors. So the 5 kinds of mahayajnas are prescribed in the life of a Vaidika. And one, in the beginning, it is very necessary for having some antahkarana shuddhi, and for setting the road, setting this journey firmly on the road of dharma, it is needed. But it also has, this mantra 1-4-10 says, it has a strangely addictive quality. One gets complacent in this chakra of obligations. Just like that, in the olden days, they used to use the bullock as the oil press. So one side a big poor thing, it was horrible to watch. One side a big stone would be tied, and on the other side it was a short little leash to which a stick is tied, and that stick is the churning rod. And the bullock cannot go this way, cannot go that way, it will just go round and round. And then in the churning rod they would put sesame seeds and everything, and it would grind all the seeds into oil, which would be collected into a canister underneath. Horrible practice. But if you can imagine, this poor bullock cannot get free, cannot stop going round, because somebody is beating it and goading it with an ankusha. Cannot go here, cannot go there, only can go round and round. So sad. Why is it sad? Because somewhere one recognizes oneself in this situation. There is a certain, harmony, there is a certain synergy that is felt with this poor oil pressing bullock. It is there. And this, because of this, what is this synergy? There is this feeling that I too have all these obligations from morning to night. And people sometimes don't come to Brahma Vidya class because they say, Devata will get angry if I don't do this. Today there is this festival, and then my mother did this festival. There are festivals, inherited from the mothers, and then inherited from the husband's mother. All these things are there. These are inherited. Already you have certain festivals. On top of that, there are inherited festivals from the in-laws. And then even though the in-laws may behave like outlaws, the festival cannot be, the festival cannot be stopped. You have to do all the things. You have to do this and that and everything, and then it is, you're just left holding the baby, and then you have to keep on, doing it until you can find somebody to give it to, and then that will be after your children are grown up, and then when you have daughters or daughters-in-law or something, then you give it to them. This is a huge thing. So then you are keeping on holding all these duties and obligations, and then the jignasa for Brahma Vidya is also born as a result of this sacrifice. Very interesting predicament, you see. As a result of this sacrifice, as a result of leading this life, of this inner purification, being dutiful, and then what? Then one is in a strange quandary. One is in a very, very strange quandary. Because even if you cut that big stone out of the neck of the bullock and then free the bullock, for the first few days it will still go round and round. It will not go in a straight line. It has forgotten how else to go. So then this is very beautifully talked about here. How is it talked about? It is said that it is said that my video is turned off. I don't think so. You can see me, right? Yeah. And so I don't know who said that. Harinder? No, my video is not turned off. It's on. So maybe at that time. Yeah. But I'm seeing the message now. But anyhow, so it is said that this is something which is very hard to look at. What is hard to look at? It is hard to look at one's own self swimming, rather sinking in the sea of obligations and wanting to grasp at the rope called Brahma Vidya. Why is Brahma Vidya a rope? So that it calls out the aropa of everything that one is sinking in. And so therefore, coming out of this arope, you catch on to the rope of Brahma Vidya, but then there is still this duvidha. There is one is in betwixt and between these two worlds. And this is a very vulnerable situation, is it not? And then therefore, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that, the devas or the devatas, not Bhagavan here, but devatas means Bhagavan in the form of various functionaries and forms that are invoked every day. And including one's Ishta Devata, etc. So then these Devatas become very jealous when you start studying Brahma Vidya. And they will put obstacles in your way. Very, very interesting way to look at it. This itself is a projection, okay? Because we are not able to handle the fact that, we are not able to handle the fact that, here comes the mantra in the chat box. If you are looking at it, only the latter half is, only the latter half is relevant. And, I will this thing it to you, talk about it to you. But, so the devatas get jealous is our own projection on to the devatas. Devatas are not getting jealous, but there is a point that is being made by this mantra, is that there is a relationship that you have developed. You have cultivated a relationship which is based on give and take, which is based on reciprocity, and which is exactly what what is that called? Which is that the Bhagavad Gita talks about in the 10th verse of the 3rd chapter. The 10th verse. The verses 10 to 15 talk about this. Devan bhavayatanena te devaha bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantah shreyah param avapsyatha. So you take care of the devatas. And the devatas in turn will nourish you, and this way you can grow. Both of you can grow. Parasparam bhavayantah, nurturing one another. And devatas being the sky, the five elements, and the whole, this is like a very beautiful spiritual cosmic ecology where you nurture the ecological forces around you and they take care of you. All well and good until you say, let me out of samsara. When that desire comes, one is in a quandary. One is in the sandhi, between and betwixt of wanting to plunge into Brahma Vidya, but then, oh no, what's going to happen to these devatas? And so that fear is not only on the part of the Manushya, the human being, but that fear is also on the part of the devas, on the part of the devatas which are invoked. Very, very interesting. So they too start to feel like, oh, this one is going already? No. This is my favorite bhakta. I am getting a lot of laddus. I am getting a lot of wonderful things. This one is going. How can this one go? No, not too fast. What can I do? Oh, doesn't matter. Just love them up. Give them some nice, some surprise, and then they will stay a little longer. This is the whole idea. So then, this is what is there. Even when somebody does yajna, it is talked about in the Puranas that Indra gets jealous. It's the same idea. Indra gets jealous because Indra feels like one's own, padavi, one's own place is lost. Somebody else will take his place. There the reason for jealousy is different. Here it is different. And here what is the logic? The logic is that just like in the what's its name? Just like in the samsara, you have got so many people that will hold you behind. That will stop you. If you start to study Brahma Vidya seriously, they will all just come and say, no, not so fast. What are you doing? What's going to happen to me? I helped you get here and we should do this together. But the other person is not interested in this at all. You know that very well. There is no doing this together at all. You know this, but still there is this feeling of doing something bad or wrong. And that is picked up by the devatas because there is this feeling of obligation. Especially at the beginning, that obligation becomes very, 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 very difficult to drop. Obligation in the form of puja, obligation in the form of, even if you just have a plant, you've been watering the plant every day. And then when you go on a trip, you feel guilty. Oh, forgot to tell the neighbor. What if it will dry up? And then from, plant, then what do you have? Maybe in the beginning you have a chia pet, which is supposed to dry up. First, the children, in America, there is some enterprising fellow sold this thing called pet rock. Something to hold and have. And then, so this pet rock was there. Everybody was, keeping on these pet rocks. Was just whenever they felt upset, worried, sad, they would hold on to the pet rock. And then after that, graduated to something which is, has got a time bound but alive, chia pet. So some seeds, these chia seeds are there, and they were put in a formation to make into a little turtle or some kind of an animal. You water it every day and then it grows, and then at some point it dies. Then after that, you graduate into some kind of a potted plant, and then you learn to take care of it, and then it blesses you with flowers perhaps, and then it flowers, it does very well, and you are very happy. Then after that what? Then you think, then you can think of getting married or whatever, you can do that. But then so like this, then you can start having a friend, then you can think of getting married, then you can start having a child. But in the Hindu tradition, this same thing is there. But the only difference is we start with and end with the pet rock, Shivalinga. That is what it is. That is for us the pet rock. And the pet rock is there in the beginning, and that's the bedrock of one's spiritual journey, and the pet rock is there, right up to the end. That is the whole idea. So, but anyhow, here, this kind of this obligation becomes more and more and more. First it was one plant, and then it was 3-4 plants. Then before you know it, your house has become a jungle. And, and then what? Then you graduate towards having pets. And people who have multiple pets tell me, okay, we have one couple told me, we have 6 dogs. No, it was not 6. It was 6 cats and 5 or 4 dogs. 4 dogs and 6 cats. And they were in a very bad situation. Why? Because one of the dogs or cat, I forget which, one of the animals had gone missing. Ayyo, what to do now? And then, and their child tried to point out that, well, the other 4 are left. So what if one dog has gone missing, the other 3 dogs are there and other 6 cats are there. So what is the problem? Oh, you will not understand, the parents said. You will not understand at all. It is very, very troubling. And then Adi Shankara has picked up on all this. And then so has the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which talks about all this. And the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says that the kind of enjoyment you get from having potted plants, from taking care of animals, and the joys that the animals bring to you, even if one of them goes missing, think of how much apriya it creates. Even if one of them runs away, you look for it, you Photoshop one photo of it and then put it all over town. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this dog? Have you seen this cat? How much distress you are in. So then, similarly, just like you enjoy the Devata, you enjoy your Pashus, your animals, your beasts, similarly, the Devatas enjoy you like an enslaved animal. Very subtle. And we didn't know it would go here, but that's where the Brihadaranyaka Mantra goes. This is exactly where it goes. And thank you, Harinder. Here I will read it. It's just very nice. It says that, the one who, atha yaha anyan devatam upaste. Upaste, singular. It sounds like plural, but it's singular. So, yaha, the one who worships Bhagavan as other. Anyam devatam. Worships other devatas as other than oneself. Anyaha asau, anyaha aham asmi iti. This devata is an entity. It needs payasam, and I am a different entity. I don't like payasam. This kind of a difference. When this kind of a difference is made, then nasaveda, that person cannot study this Brahma Vidya, does not know this Brahma Vidya, does not understand this. Yatha pashuhu evam sa devanam. It is as though that person is enslaved by the devatas to do their bidding and to give them their enjoyment, etc., etc., because there is a certain reciprocity happening on the empirical plane of divisions we are talking about. On the mithya plane of divisions, there is a reciprocity. They are waiting for their pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, vyanaya swaha. They are waiting for their naivedya every day. And you are the one, feeling guilty if you forget the naivedya. All this is there. And then, yatha pashuhu evam sa devanam. Yatha havai bahavaha pasavaha manushyam bhunjuhu. So just like one, the so many pashus are there for the enjoyment of the person. Evam ekaikam purusha devan bhunakti. Similar, same thing, exactly like that. The person enjoys the devas and the devas enjoy the person. But then the relationship is of one of obligation, and wherever there is obligation, there is enslavement. Wherever there is obligation, there is enslavement. There is a notion of enslavement. And then what, then evam ekaikaf purushah devan bhunakti. And the reverse is also there. There is a connection of obligation. And then ekasmin eva pashau adiyamane apriyam bhavati kimu bahushu. Even when one pashu goes missing, think of how difficult it is, how disturbed you are. Think of how undesirable, apriyam is undesirable, the situation it is. So what to talk when all the animals that you love are gone away. Tasmad, therefore, esham tanna priyam yadetat manushya vidyuhu. So this is exactly what happens with the relationship with the devatas. So the devatas are there, and then you have been nurturing the devatas. Devatas means your relationship on the subtle level to the subtle energies in the universe. Those are what is referred to as devatas. The subtle energies, the adhishthana devatas behind the eyes, behind the ears, and then the devatas in the form of the cosmic ecology around oneself, the cosmic ecology in the form of trees, in the form of water, in the form of fire, all these things. These are all devatas. And then so imagine when you are in a transition, you are in a sandhi, you are in a great grand transition from seeing these devatas as nothing other than yourself. You are not abandoning the devatas, but you have that energy of abandoning, and that energy of abandonment, the energy of missing, is put upon them. And they respond in kind because they are also entities on the subtle level. They all are sukshma. On the sukshma level, they also say, I love you too, I miss you too, don't go, be with me, don't study Upanishad. What is this Upanishad going to do? Be with me, look, but the going was very good. What happened? Well, you did nothing wrong, I did nothing wrong, here we are, it was all so wonderful. And why change a wonderful thing? So let us continue the status quo as before. What should your answer be? And therefore, quickly get into the Shanti Patha. The more the merrier. That's why there are so many Shanti Pathas, to ward off these very situations, and to address in this particular Shanti Patha, as we will see next week, the particular devatas in the form of everything that surrounds us. They are as the adhishthana devatas for our movement, for our thinking, for our strength, are discussed and propitiated, and we take their permission to be able to go on this journey of study. And then we love them, and then we know, but we want to know them. We want to continue in a relationship with them, but it is more of a relationship of an extension of oneself, not as a relationship of, anyahasan, being separate, anyan devatan, upaste. No, not being separate from them. We ask for that energy to be able to see beyond these distinctions, beyond these offerings, beyond these relationship of obligations, beyond this dysfunctionality of seeing them as separate from ourselves. So the Shanno Mitra Shanti Mantra is a very, very beautiful mantra designed to obfuscate and these differences. And it is also like a final propitiation. Nothing is final, but here it is a final break from that kind of a life to the study, to welcoming this oneness which is there in the Upanishads. So with their blessings we will move further next week. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ थैंक यू